This is Tarkan Batgun again, and I have a fantastic guest all the way from down under, Brisbane Roar Chief Operating Officer from down under. Welcome to our show, Zac Anderson. And I'll tell the audience a little bit about you because it's my home country. I still call Australia home, And
Of course,
I'll tell a little bit about who you are as an ex-professional football player, playing in Australia for 6 years, Central Coast, Sydney FC, before heading to overseas to play in Emirates FC, in United Arab Emirates, in Kedah, PKNSA and Perak in Malaysia, and then a final stop to Singapore, playing for Hong Kong. Well, you stayed in Singapore post-football, starting in Samara Capital, which was an investment firm, because, COO, of course, you're involved with this money and the finances. Co-invested in Singapore in APEC SMEs, and through relationships in Singapore, you found that with First 11 Capital, which supported high net worths to looks at the strategic club acquisitions, etc. And you started at Brisbane Roar in July last year, and helping transform Brisbane, focusing on propelling an aggressive growth strategy and to create sustainability, which is quite difficult because you are in a faraway place, but a fantastically beautiful Gold Coast, Gold Coast. You cannot beat the tourism there, which I still love it. But, well, football anyway. You started a long time ago, but I'm just wondering, how do you actually use the football data first? Because obviously you need to be able to find players and a lot of effort to find the suitable players. So how do you go about that?
Well, Tarkan, firstly, thank you so much for allowing me to come on to this short podcast, this short show. I think that you and I have known each other a long time, back to Football Australia days, and I obviously love to see the success of Comparisonator, but everything that you love about the game, in regards to I guess identifying, nurturing young talent, is the DNA of what my chairman, CEO, Patafta, and I have tried to instill in this football club. So, like you mentioned, we've been here at Brisbane Roar now 11 months. We walked into a club that really didn't have a strong DNA. It really didn't have a strong vision of where it wanted to go. And I remember sitting down with Kaz at the very, very beginning of our tenure, and we said to each other, this is going to be a club that really goes out and provides a clear pathway for players here in Queensland, because we are the only professional club here in the state. And as you know, being an Australian, we have a very big market pool of talent here. So we've been very clear with our member fed and our local clubs to really bring the ecosystem together. And within this process, within this strategy, obviously, utilizing data is in a really important way for us to be able to strategically find the best talent. So for us, this starts with player profiling each position and being very clear on what we want to identify, both from a junior perspective in the academy, and also from a senior setup standpoint. So we've worked diligently over the last 11 months to build a document that the club now has that binds together a very clear methodology in how we would like to recruit and how we want to recruit. Now, as you know, there's always outliers within this. However, this is being utilized to be able to bring together a squad moving forward and start to shape and reform, I guess, to help our coach in the style of play that he wants to play. So it's football for us is all about the people. You know, you really with any business, it starts with, you know, who's on the bus, who is in the room, who is working day in, day out to be able to implement the plans and push forward the ideas of the management team. But we have such an incredible history here at Brisbane Roar. We've had some incredible players that have come through, and those players that have come through have always who haven't always been big stars. There have been players that when they first came to the club may have been a little bit of a rough diamond. And this is where we go back to the utilization of data and the power of Comparisonator. And I think that for us, it's been a very interesting and worthwhile tool for us to be able to have it in our toolkit per se, to be able
How do you
to
use it,
see.
bro? In a day-to-day world, how do you use it?
For us, it's a tool that we like to I guess explore, to be able to utilize different avenues, to be able to test and trial different things. I think it's about curiosity at the end of the day. It's about trying to find a makeup and I guess a synergy within a team that can hopefully be successful. So Comparisonator for us is another, I guess, a tool that we utilize to be able to go into the recruitment shop and to be able to tweak and trial and test little things to be able to expose us to talent that maybe we didn't have on our radar before. And it's really about, for me, about curiosity. It goes back to the love of you know, not necessarily maybe not being the best player and seeing players come through that I may have thought maybe not being the best players, but actually forge careers. And football is such a subjective game, right? It's about opinions and it's about coaches finding players that fit their model. And I think that Comparisonator for us is just a tool that we use to be able to trial different things, test different things, be curious, and just see what potentially a formation of different individuals can come together to be successful.
And I forgot to mention and thank you for this fantastic jersey.
Pleasure.
My name.
Pleasure.
And
Pleasure.
So the club management, when we're talking about Australia, right? And it's difficult sometimes for players to actually come there. So how do you actually recruit them? What's the secret words that you use? How do you attract these players to? Because that's still to this date, a lot of players come to Australia and go to other bigger leagues. So how do you attract these players in the first place? So what is attracting Brisbane, for example? Let's say if I'm a centre forward and you made an offer, so okay, but how do you attract me?
For me, it's all about building the relationship and being upfront and honest about the vision of what we're trying to achieve. And for us and the success that we've had to bring players to our football club, it obviously helps that we live in a beautiful part of the world. But players aren't coming here for a holiday. They're coming here to work hard and hopefully be successful. And most of the time we are very upfront and honest, subject to the player's age and what our due diligence has shown us. But usually we are very upfront, Tarkan, and honest about us as a football club being a stepping stone for most players. And that is possibly an avenue into a bigger league in Asia, possibly putting themselves into an environment that they can excel and be successful. Because the beautiful thing about the A-League and this competition here in Australia is that we have seen great success with players coming here and doing well and having the ability to then progress their careers to so-called bigger leagues. So I think that the conversation with any player that has interest to come to Australia from a Brisbane Roar perspective is that we are ambitious. We are a family. We do things differently here in the way that we treat each other and have respect for football in our community. And I think that being the only team here in a very, very big state and a big city creates an amazing culture and an amazing family to be a part of. So the nostalgia of winning 3 grand finals on the men's side, 2 on the women's side, having 55,000 people at Suncorp Stadium, having coaches like Ange Postecoglou coach at our football club and be very successful, creates an incredible history and something that we're very proud of, and something that we always speak about when we go and recruit players.
Mate, it's been a pleasure to host you here, and I'd like to speak with you soon again, and wishing Brisbane Roar and beautiful Gold Coast. Gold Coast.
When are
Well,
you coming back to the
see, I miss home, don't I?
We'll get you back. We'll get you back, and hopefully we'll get you to a game very soon.
All right, man. It's great to meet you, and this is Tarkan Batgun again from Comparisonator. Lovely to host this nice gentleman and COO of Brisbane Roar, Zac Anderson. Goodbye for now.